I greet you all viewers. This is Buseesa Demonstration Farm, and this is Dr. Kaso's Investors. Here at Buseesa, I work as the veterinary consultant for this farm. And today we want to talk about brooding chicks. When you are brooding chicks, you need to know very many things that I'm going to talk about in this episode. Number one, we start with the quality of the chick. It's better you get your chicks from a good breeder or from a good source. How does a good chick look like? Number one, a good chick should be able to see clearly. It should have bright eyes and when they are both functioning. A good chick should be able to walk properly. If you have a chick that cannot move, it means it will not be able to access water, to access feed. A good chick should have a dried umbilical cord. If you find any chick that has an umbilical cord around here and it is not healed, just know that that one is a wrong chick or a bad chick. Unfortunately, we did not get such type of chicks. A good chick should have a very good beak that can be able to drink water and pick the feed. So after knowing some of the qualities of a good chick, then you also need to get them from a good supplier who has been able to vaccinate these chicks at day one when they are still at the hatchery. For example, for these layers, chicks are vaccinated against Newcastle and infectious bronchitis. They also vaccinated against Marek's disease. So you should pick the chicks from a supplier that has been able to vaccinate against those diseases at day one. Now here we come. When we reach our brooder, as you can see it right now, in our brooder, we should make sure that we have the potential to regulate heat, because as you hear the word brooding, it's all about regulating the temperatures to help the birds get enough warmth. As you know, this one that we are doing is artificial brooding, meaning that we have to provide the right temperature to these birds. We have to provide feed. We have to provide water. We have to provide a soft floor. In other words, we are becoming a substitute for the hen that would have been brooding these chicks naturally. So in a brooder, as you can see, our brooder pots, these brooder pots are helping us to provide heat to these younger ones. Now, how do we know that the heat is enough? When you see that the chicks are well spread randomly in the house and they are not congregating, just know that the heat is enough. If you see them coming together, then you know that the heat is not enough. Then you either increase the heat or you even close the other gaps that are in the brooder. If I'm talking about feed, starting day one when you're in the brooder, we provide the feed all the time. We do not limit the feed. Make sure that the feed is available and in large quantities for each and every chick obtain the feed. Then two, for water. Ensure that the water is available at all points and all the chicks must be able to access the water. Then number three, you have to make sure that the brooder is containing brooder papers down. That is from day one. There must be a soft ground to help absorb shock to the young ones. And then what else I have to talk about is avoiding the sharp corners. That's why we are putting some materials to avoid these sharp corners, because in case these chicks are scared by something or noise or anything else, they congregate or they clamp in the corner, and some of them will end up suffocating. Then the other issue I've talked about in the brooder, when you have just introduced your day-old chicks in the brooder, before giving them feed, ensure that there is water that is containing some glucovate. Glucovate is a combination of glucose and vitamin, just to give them that first energy, to reduce the stress, because most of the times the chicks are from a long distance. Most of the hatcheries now, like Buseesa demonstration farm, is located so many kilometers from the city center where the hatcheries are. So these chicks will have undergone a lot of transport stress, and they have taken long distances without anything. So we have to boost them first so that they can get that first energy from the glucose and then the vitamins to help stabilize them. The other issue I can talk about in a brooder is that we must be keen to identify any chick that is weak or sick. For example, if you find that there is a chick that can't move, make sure that you isolate it. Here I'm trying to come to the point of creating a small isolation point, so that if there is a chick that is weak or it has been injured, make sure you remove it, put it in a separate isolation brooder part. And in that isolation brooder part, there must be a pot for heat, there must be water, there must be feed, and by removing it from this bigger brooder, you help it to reduce the competition with others since it's weak. The other point I want to talk about is vaccinations. Make sure that as you are picking chicks from your supplier or the breeder company, make sure that they give you a vaccination schedule, because vaccination schedules or vaccination programs differ with the different companies depending on how they vaccinate their parent stock. So as they are giving you these chicks, let them also give you a vaccination schedule that you'll be following to vaccinate these chicks against the various diseases. For example, here at Buseesa demonstration farm, we vaccinate our chicks at day 7, and there we are vaccinating them against Newcastle disease and infectious bronchitis. Then at week 2, we are vaccinating them against Gumboro disease. At week 3, we continue and vaccinate them against Gumboro, that's a booster dose. At week 4, we again vaccinate them against Newcastle disease IB. So the program continues until we finish brooding these chicks, and then we continue rearing them. So in summary, make sure you vaccinate these chicks in order to improve or to increase their immunity against these diseases that are a threat to poultry farmers. Then the other issue I have to talk about in a brooder is that you must make sure that you follow biosecurity. For example, not everyone should keep entering your brooder. All visitors at the farm, and specifically from other poultry units to the brooder, they must disinfect themselves first using a disinfectant. They must be putting on the right attire for the brooder, so that you avoid diseases being carried from other poultry units or from other farm parts to the brooder. People always ask, for how long do we brood these chicks? For layers, we brood them for 4 weeks. That's 1 month. And this depends on the season. If it's a dry season, you can even stop at 3 weeks. But if it's a rainy season, sometimes due to a lot of coldness, we even extend to the 5th week. However, the intense brooding is for the first 2 to 3 weeks. But then these other last weeks, we always apply the heat when there is a lot of coldness. When there is some warmth and the chicks are fine, we can withdraw the heat sources. But in summary, we always brood layers for 4 weeks. So we want to talk about spacing for layers, and specifically in a brooder. How do you know that this space is enough for my day-old chicks? In each 1 square meter, we consider putting 40 chicks. The spacing is 1 square meter for 40-day-old chicks. However, our farmers should know that we keep increasing this space with age. When we go to week 1, we shall expand. Week 2, we expand. We shall keep expanding depending on how the birds are growing. So we expand the brooder with age. So our farmers should know. The whole principle behind it is that when you look into the brooder, each bird should be able to feed, should be able to drink, and should have enough space for it to move around. So, but in summary, at day 1, we consider 1 square meter for 40-day-old chicks. People will be asking, which type of feed do we give to these young ones? So, when you look at this type of feed, we call it starter crumble. They are crumbles. They are small in size to fit the age of the birds. And these ones are rich in proteins. They are very good for the young ones, for bodybuilding. So this one is called layer starter. It's layer starter feed. We feed these all the period they spend in the brooder. We feed them on layer starter feed. However, some other people give them layer starter. But for us here at Buseesa, we recommend layer starter feed. If you are buying the old chicks, layers, ensure that you also buy layer starter feed for them, and they eat this feed for the first 4 weeks. Then from there, when you wean them from the brooder, you can start giving them layer grower feed, and so on until when they start laying, you begin giving them floor layer feed, or layers mash, or layer feed. Thank you for watching this episode. And here at Buseesa Demonstration Farm, we have all sorts of technologies. We bring you many things about farming in various enterprises. And in this episode of Brooding, we think you have learned a lot, and we encourage you to come and visit the farm so that you continue seeing for yourself how we do these various activities at the farm. You can continue with us to see what next after breeding these chicks. Thank you for watching.